So here's some stretching exercises you can do with the handrails as well that you might want to take into account before you decide to use them. Another close-up shot of the handrails. So here is a nice view of the park. I'll take some individual shots so you can see what it looks like. Primarily, it's not really a dog park, but it is a popular place for you to bring your pet. More shots of the park. Now, here's a nice waste disposal area. It's one thing that you can use, that the city used to keep the city clean. So if you have waste disposal, don't hesitate to put it in the waste disposal can. It's located right outside the park, right at 19th and Minnesota. So here's one of several self-bike rental stations where you could literally rent. You can find out many of these are located throughout the city, so you can literally rent a bike here at the park, Potrero Hill, and then cycle to one end of Potrero Hill and drop it off at another bike station or drop it off downtown. So you see a lot of these bike rental stations all throughout the city, which is kind of nice. Located just right at the corner of 19th and Minnesota. And here's the pay station for the bike rental. So here's a sign that helps you identify your specific location. You'll see a few of these throughout the city. In the middle of the sign, it'll say, "You are here." As indicated before, it's right outside the Spirit Park. Again, right at the corner of Minnesota and 19th Street. Now approaching the 900 block of 19th Street. The cross street is Indiana. Well, O&M Luxury Apartments offers virtual tours. So those of you who think of relocating to the city or specifically Dogpatch neighborhood, you can contact them directly. I believe tours are by appointment. Now they're located at 680 Indiana Street, right here on the corner of 19th Street. Now, one of the things that's going to help you identify the title of a street when you can't seem to find it is to look at the corner of the sidewalk. Now, what may happen in many cases when you come up to a street corner is that most of the signs that identify the street are at the poles at the corner of a block. But in some blocks and on some streets, there's no sign. And so what you do is, in that situation, you just come down to the corner of the street and you look at the sidewalk. And this is where you'll identify the title of the street. In this case, it's Indiana Street. Now here is one of many sculptures that you'll find throughout the city. Some are large, very large, and more famous. And then some are like this one that is quite unique. Now again, it's located right next to the luxury apartments I mentioned at 680 Indiana Street. I'll give you a few more shots of the sculpture. Here's another angle of the sculpture. It looks like it's a female riding a horse, but you might interpret it a little differently. Now, as you can see, we've come to a dead end on 19th Street going westbound. Now, the reason why I bring this up is that you'll find this to be the case all throughout the city, where some streets that you're walking or driving on, you simply can't get through to the next block. And so in that situation, you'll have to either turn left or right, going north or southbound, to get back to, in this case, 19th Street that we're going on. And I'll show you in a minute. We can either go northbound up to 18th Street, turn left, go westbound on 18th Street, and then turn left again on 18th Street back to 19th, or we can turn right on 19th Street up to 18th Street, and then turn left on 18th Street. It's kind of like a loop. You simply loop around the dead end street. Or you turn left on Indiana Street to 20th Street, and then make a right on 20th Street, go over the highway, and then turn right again on the next block back over to 19th Street. So essentially, as I said before, you either have to turn left or turn right and walk or drive around the dead end street to get back to your main street. And so I'll show you that in a minute. In our case, I'm going to turn left on Indiana up to 20th Street and then go over the highway and then get back over to 19th Street. I'll show you in a minute. So now we're going southbound on Indiana Street, and again our objective is to get back over to 19th Street. Well, as you can see, it's going to be a bit more of a challenge to try to get back over to 19th Street, because there's no way to cross the highway that's blocking our ability to gain back to 19th Street, other than if you're driving, you'd have to continue on down Indiana to 22nd Street, then make a left on 22nd to Minnesota, then left on Minnesota to 20th, and then 20th takes you over the highway over to Pennsylvania. Then you make a right on Pennsylvania back to 19th Street, and then continue going westbound. Now, since we're hiking or walking in this film shoot, or if you're cycling, I'm going to show you a quick shortcut you can use to get to the highway, get to the bridge, that's what it is, that takes you over the Highway 280. Now here's 20th Street. That's going to take us, but you're going to use a bridge, I'm going to show you in a minute, that'll take you over the Highway 280 back over to 19th Street. But it's a one-way street going westbound, so again, you won't be able to turn left on this street, on 20th, and go over the bridge, the 20th Street Bridge. But if you're cycling or hiking or walking as I am, you can go down 20th Street and then connect back to the 20th Street Bridge and then go over the bridge, over Highway 280, back over to Pennsylvania Street, as I said, and then you just make a right on Pennsylvania to 19th Street. I'll show you in a minute. So here's, how you doing? Here's 20th Street, and this is where you'll find the 20th Street Bridge. It's going to take us over the Highway 280, and as I mentioned earlier, the 20th Street Bridge. Now to your left, you'll see the sidewalk if you're walking, hiking, or cycling. Now I mentioned the 20th Street Bridge when we, in our phase 1 of Potrero Hill, going westbound on 20th Street. But as I said earlier, in this case, we're going eastbound on 19th Street. One of the things that's special about walking or cycling or riding over the 20th Street Bridge is the views of the San Francisco Skyline, which I mentioned in phase 1, which are really spectacular. We're going to see more of this as we're moving westbound on 19th Street. So as we travel over the 280 highway on 20th Street, one of the things I mentioned in phase 1 is the use of Highway 280 when you're coming in and out of the city, going to and from, let's say, the San Francisco airport, as opposed to using Highway 101. There's far less traffic, especially during the rush hour time, but which is between 3:30 p.m. and 7 p.m., Monday through Friday. There's far less rush hour traffic time and rush hour traffic as a whole on 280 than there is on Highway 101. So the GPS might have you take 101 coming from the city going out to the airport, when in actuality you want to be using Highway 280 coming from the city going to the airport. This view on this side of the bridge is showing you going southbound. So if you were to your right, the cars are going southbound out of the city. To your left, the cars are coming inbound into the city. So this is the highway you want to be using when going to and from the San Francisco airport, to and from the city. Okay, now that we've crossed the 20th Street Bridge, now we're at the corner of Pennsylvania and 20th, so we're going to turn right on Pennsylvania back to 19th Street. Okay, now we're back on 19th Street. We're going to be on the 1100 block going westbound on 19th. As I mentioned earlier, the cross street will be Pennsylvania. Now, one of the things that's special about walking or cycling or jogging throughout the city, especially within the hilly neighborhoods like Potrero Hill, are at the intersections. The views of the bay when you reach the intersections of virtually every block are spectacular. So whenever you reach an intersection, like I'm going to show you as we travel westbound on 19th Street, you want to either look to your left, look to your right, or look north, south, east, and west. And you're going to see spectacular views of, in this case, looking eastbound from which you came, the view of the bay, which includes the container ships in the bay. You've also got to your left the Port of Oakland in the background and the Oakland Hills. And then I'm going to show you as we look northbound in a minute what you'll see. So as you look to northbound at the corner intersection of 19th and Pennsylvania, you'll get that wonderful view of the San Francisco Skyline. That tall building in front of us is, to the right is Salesforce Tower, and then to your left, that brown building is the Bank of America. And if you see in the middle between the Bank of America and the Salesforce Tower, that thin pyramid, that's the pyramid block. And of course, Highway 280 from which we crossed the 20th Street Bridge. And then let me show you what you can see looking southbound. So as you look southbound, you're going to see the hillside homes, or homes of the hillside of the homes that are within south of the city as you approach San Mateo County, which is also spectacular. You get a better view of South San Francisco as we go up the hill westbound on 19th Street. But nevertheless, it's going to vary. Your views are going to vary from intersection to intersection. So let's continue our journey going westbound on 19th Street. Yeah, one of the things that is special about walking throughout the city during the Halloween season is you see all the nice Halloween decorations that a lot of locals are making. Here shows the skeleton dressed up in conjunction to their basketball court. I think they got one more on the other side. Let's take a look. Yes, they got another skeleton that's hanging out right in front of the porch area.